Having found myself in Western Ohio with more time on my hands today than I know what to do with, I am heading to Pittsburgh, a city that I've never been to, never had an inkling to go there. Not because I don't like it, but just because I have wanted to go other places and don't know many people that know much about Pittsburgh. So, in my non-willful ignorance about this city, I'm going to pick out 3 places to check out, and then I'm going to come back to my hotel that you saw behind me just then. Those are, and you might be formulating your own answer in your head as to what sticks out in my mind when I don't know shit about Pittsburgh. 1 is Mr. Rogers' house. 2 is Mr. Rogers' house is on Beechwood Boulevard. Some of you may know that. I don't know if that's common knowledge, but I'm going to go there. I'm probably not going to go in. I don't know if there's a museum or what. I'm going to go to the riverfront, which is a park that is displayed in the movie Jack Reacher, which is a pretty good movie. It's got a lot of fairly unbelievable action scenes, but it's a good one. And then I'm going to go to the Pittsburgh Pirates and Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium. Last 2 landmarks I just came up with came from watching movies. The first being Jack Reacher. The second one being the scene in Batman The Dark Knight Rises when Bane causes such calamity in what is, I think, supposed to be the Gotham City football stadium. It's actually the Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium, when they blow up the field and like all the football players fall through except for the guy that was running with the ball that scores a touchdown thanks to Bane's destruction. And that was Heinz Ward, who is a former Pittsburgh Steelers football player. Pittsburgh got its name from someone named Forbes admired British statesman William Pitt so much that he named the city after him. The word burg comes from the Scottish variant of borough, which means a fortified city. So there you have city, named after William Pitt, and then fortified city to kind of complete the name. That's where it comes from. Stay tuned. I'm going to see you in Pittsburgh. As it turns out, Mr. Rogers' house is merely a house in a nice neighborhood now. I think he sold it in the early 80s for like $250,000, and it's worth over $1 million now. But moving on, this is a view of PNC Park, the current home of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Since 2001, the former stadium was located actually on the road I was just on before I turned right in this frame. What you're looking at straight ahead is the Allegheny River and a backdrop of downtown Pittsburgh. Behind those vans is one of the commemorative player statues of Pittsburgh Pirate greats. That one is Bill Mazeroski. And there you see the backdrop of downtown Pittsburgh behind the stadium. When you're sitting in the stadium facing the outfield, you can see downtown Pittsburgh, which really adds to the appeal. Driving back toward the home plate entrance of PNC Park, you can see it's pretty scenic there. And the statue right there to the right and now on the left part of the frame briefly was Honus Wagner. So that's PNC Park. What you're looking at is the Roberto Clemente Bridge, which was formerly the 5th Street Bridge, from where the north side of Pittsburgh backs up into where the Allegheny and Ohio River meet. And then the Monongahela River shoots south, hence the name or the nickname of the area is the Three Rivers area. Looking back from where we just walked is a view of the sidewalk, and then to the right is Heinz Field, which is where the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Pittsburgh Panthers play football. Walking back along this path that we're just on to the left is a World War II memorial. Really informative. A couple different exhibits about multiple fronts of World War II and significant events and how Pittsburgh's steel manufacturing industry played such a big role in the success of the Allied forces in World War II. Continuing to walk along this path, getting closer to the river and the Roberto Clemente Bridge, is a staircase that we're about to get to. Before we do that, take note of an earlier frame which included a building, which is to the left of the picture here, which would have included Jerome Bettis, former Pittsburgh Steeler, great running back, his restaurant. So a lot of landmark sports locations in one area, having PNC Park, Heinz Field, and then Jerome Bettis' restaurant right there. So walking down the stairs here to the Three River Heritage Trail, which you see is really inviting and clean. There are actually tie-ups, so people can actually land their boats right along the Three River Heritage Trail. Continuing on that, there's Heinz Field a little bit closer. And there's another view of the Three Rivers Heritage Trail, which actually extends 25 miles right along the Ohio River, continuing to where it turns into the Allegheny and then the Monongahela. That is the Rockefeller Science Center. As some people know, Rockefeller had a big presence in this part of the country. And then walking back up to the Mr. Rogers Memorial. That's where we just were. And then circling back around is this archway with Mr. Rogers prominently displayed right there. That actually plays his voiceover in quotes while you're there.